Did you know that some of the most beautiful, tempting fruits on earth are actually dangerous to have around your family? Right here in America, there are fruits so harmful that growing them is restricted or banned in many states. These aren't just mildly problematic. We're talking about fruits that can cause serious health issues and emergency room visits. Today, we're exploring 20 toxic fruits that are forbidden in American gardens, and the stories behind why they're restricted will shock you. 1. Manchineel, beach apple. The Manchineel might look like a perfect green apple hanging from a tropical tree, but it's earned the nickname the most dangerous tree in the world. Every single part of this tree is so toxic that even standing under it during rain can cause severe skin blistering as the harmful compounds wash down from the leaves. The fruit contains 4-ball esters, compounds so potent that just one bite can cause your throat to swell shut and severe internal distress. Spanish conquistadors called it manzanilla de la muerte, the little apple of danger. In Florida and other coastal areas where it might grow, authorities mark these trees with red paint and warning signs because the risk is so extreme. What makes this particularly troubling is that the fruit looks exactly like something you'd want to pick and eat. Smooth, green, and perfectly apple-shaped. 2. Yew berries. Those bright red berries on yew bushes might look like nature's candy, but they're actually one of nature's most deceptive hazards. While the red flesh itself isn't harmful, the seed inside contains taxine alkaloids that can cause serious heart problems within hours. What makes yew berries particularly concerning is that they taste sweet and appealing, especially to children and pets. Many states have banned ornamental yew plantings near schools and playgrounds because even a single seed can cause serious health emergencies in small children. The irony is that yew trees have been symbols of longevity and eternal life for thousands of years, planted in churchyards across Europe. But here in America, we've learned that beauty and danger often go hand in hand. 3. Pokeweed berries. Pokeweed produces clusters of dark purple berries that look remarkably similar to elderberries or grapes, making them a dangerous case of mistaken identity. These berries contain compounds that cause severe digestive distress and respiratory problems. What's particularly concerning about pokeweed is that it often grows wild in abandoned lots and forest edges where curious children might stumble upon it. The plant can grow up to 10 feet tall with berries that hang in grape-like clusters, making them especially tempting. Even birds that eat these berries can become harmful to predators that consume them. Pokeweed has a fascinating history in America. It was once used by early settlers as a dye for clothing and ink for writing, and some folks even ate the young leaves after multiple boilings. But as we learned more about the plant's toxicity, especially the berries, most states began restricting its cultivation. 4. Bittersweet nightshade berries. Don't let the romantic name fool you. Bittersweet nightshade produces bright red berries that are anything but sweet when it comes to your health. These berries contain glycoalkaloids that cause hallucinations, muscle weakness, and serious neurological symptoms. The berries start green and ripen to a brilliant red, often persisting on the vine well into winter when other food sources are scarce, making them particularly dangerous to wildlife and livestock. Many northeastern states have banned this plant because it spreads aggressively, and the berries are easily mistaken for edible wild berries like winterberry or rose hips. This plant has quite a history. It's related to tomatoes and potatoes. The difference is that bittersweet nightshade concentrates these compounds in its berries year-round. 5. Castor bean fruit. The castor bean plant produces spiky, colorful seed pods that split open to reveal beautiful mottled seeds. Seeds that contain ricin, one of the most potent natural toxins known. just a few seeds can cause severe illness, and there's no effective treatment. What makes castor beans particularly concerning is that they're often grown as ornamental plants for their large, tropical-looking leaves, and the seeds are sometimes used in jewelry making. Several states have restricted or banned castor bean cultivation because of the extreme health risks posed by the seeds. The plant grows incredibly fast, up to 15 feet in a single season, which made it popular with Victorian gardeners who wanted instant tropical appeal. But those same Victorians didn't understand the science behind what made these seeds so dangerous. 6. Elderberry, red-berried elder. While black elderberries are safe when properly cooked, their red-berried cousins are a different story entirely. Red elderberries can cause rapid onset of nausea, vomiting, and potentially serious poisoning. The berries look almost identical to the safe black variety, making identification crucial for safety. Many foragers have been hospitalized after mistaking red elderberries for their safe cousins. The plant is banned in several states not just for its toxicity, but because it can hybridize with safe elderberry species, creating confusion for future generations of foragers. This is particularly frustrating for folks who remember their grandparents making elderberry wine and jam, but they were using the black berries, not the red ones. 7. Hollyberries. Those cheerful red hollyberries that symbolize Christmas joy are actually packed with natural plant soap that can cause severe vomiting, diarrhea, and drowsiness. While rarely life-threatening to adults, hollyberries are extremely dangerous to children and pets, with just a few berries capable of causing serious illness requiring medical attention. The berries persist on the plant throughout winter, making them accessible when other food sources are scarce. Many municipalities have banned holly plantings in public spaces and near schools because of the ongoing danger they pose to curious children who might be attracted to the bright red berries. It's ironic that a plant so associated with Christmas and family gatherings is actually dangerous to have around children. Traditional holly has been part of winter celebrations for thousands of years, but our ancestors were more aware of which plants were dangerous. The restriction on holly varies by state, with some allowing it in commercial landscaping but banning it near schools and playgrounds. 8. Daphne berries. Daphne produces small, bright berries that look like tiny jewels clustered along the stems, but these beautiful fruits contain compounds that cause severe burning in the mouth and throat, followed by difficulty swallowing and serious respiratory distress. The berries are particularly dangerous because they have a slightly sweet taste initially, before the burning sensation begins. Several states have banned Daphne cultivation in residential areas because of the extreme danger to children and pets. Daphne has been prized by gardeners for its incredibly fragrant flowers that bloom in late winter or early spring, often when there's still snow on the ground. But that same plant that brings such joy in February becomes a serious hazard by summer when the berries ripen. The berries are small, about the size of a pea, but they're produced in clusters that make them particularly noticeable. 9. Privet berries. Privet hedges were once the symbol of suburban prosperity, but those small black berries they produce are packed with terpenoid saponins that cause severe gastrointestinal distress, headaches, and serious complications. The berries are particularly concerning because they're produced in large quantities and persist on the plant well into winter. Children often mistake them for edible berries like blueberries or elderberries. If you grew up in suburbia in the 1950s through 1980s, you probably remember privet hedges everywhere. They were the go-to choice for property lines and formal gardens. But as we learned more about the toxicity of those innocent-looking black berries, many communities started restricting new privet plantings. The berries are small, about the size of a peppercorn, but they're produced in huge clusters that can contain hundreds of berries per plant. 10. Buckthorn berries. Buckthorn produces abundant clusters of small black berries that contain the same compounds found in strong laxatives, but in much higher concentrations. These berries cause severe, prolonged digestive distress that can lead to dangerous dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. The plant has been banned in many northern states, not just for its invasive nature, but because the berries pose a serious health risk to anyone who might consume them. Buckthorn was actually brought to America by European settlers who valued it for its medicinal properties. In small, controlled doses, it was used as a laxative. But the berries contain such high concentrations of these compounds that even a small handful can cause serious problems. 11. Baneberry. Both red and white baneberries live up to their ominous name, containing compounds that cause severe cardiac and respiratory problems. The berries are particularly dangerous because they grow in woodland areas where people might be foraging for edible wild berries. Red baneberries look similar to elderberries, while white baneberries have an eerie doll's eye appearance with a black spot on each white berry. Just a few berries can cause rapid heartbeat, dizziness, and serious cardiac complications. The plant is banned in many states because of its extreme toxicity and potential for confusion with edible species. The white baneberry is particularly unsettling. Those white berries with black spots really do look like doll's eyes staring at you from the forest floor. Native Americans knew about these plants and gave them names that warned of their danger, but European settlers sometimes learned about them the hard way. Both varieties prefer shaded woodland areas, which is exactly where people go looking for wild edibles, making the potential for accidental consumption much higher. 12. Moonseed berries. Moonseed produces clusters of blue-black berries that look remarkably similar to wild grapes, making them one of the most dangerous cases of mistaken identity in the plant world. These berries can cause convulsions, muscle paralysis, and serious neurological problems. The key difference is in the seeds. Moonseed has a single crescent-shaped seed, while grapes have multiple round seeds. However, this distinction is often overlooked until symptoms appear. Several states have banned moonseed cultivation because of the extreme danger it poses to foragers and the difficulty in distinguishing it from safe wild grapes. The vines grow in similar habitats, often climbing trees near streams and forest edges where wild grapes also thrive. The only reliable way to tell them apart is to look at the seeds, but most people don't think to check until they're already eating the berries. Many states now include moonseed identification in their hunter safety courses because of the serious risk it poses to people foraging for wild foods. 13. Spindle tree berries. The spindle tree produces bright pink berries that split open to reveal orange seeds, creating a colorful display that's particularly attractive to children. These berries contain the same type of compounds found in digitalis, which affect heart rhythm and can cause serious cardiac problems. The berries have a slightly sweet taste that makes them particularly dangerous, as children might eat several before experiencing symptoms. The plant is banned in many areas not just for its toxicity, but because it's often planted as an ornamental, putting it in close contact with families and children. The spindle tree gets its name from the fact that its wood was traditionally used to make spindles for spinning wool. It's very hard and takes a fine point, but those same trees that provided useful wood also produce these dangerous berries. The plant is still sometimes sold in nurseries in states where it's not banned, often without adequate warning labels about the berry toxicity. This has led to several states requiring special licensing or outright banning the sale of spindle trees. 14. Snowberry. Despite its innocent name and pure white appearance, Snowberry cause severe gastrointestinal distress and can be particularly dangerous to children and small animals. The berries persist on the plant well into winter, making them accessible when other food sources are scarce. They have a slightly sweet taste initially, which can encourage consumption of multiple berries before the toxic effects become apparent. The plant spreads aggressively and is banned in several western states both for its invasive nature and the danger posed by its toxic berries. Snowberry was actually used by some Native American tribes for medicinal purposes, but they knew exactly how to prepare it and in what quantities. Knowledge that's been lost to most modern people. 15. Coralberry, Indian currant. Coralberry produces bright red berries that cluster along the stems like strings of coral beads, but these attractive fruits can cause severe digestive upset and can be particularly dangerous to livestock and pets. The plant is restricted in many agricultural areas because livestock poisoning from coralberry consumption has caused significant economic losses to farmers. The name Indian currant comes from the fact that the berries were sometimes used by Native Americans. The berries are tiny, about the size of a peppercorn, but they're produced in such abundance that a single plant can have thousands of berries. They're particularly problematic for livestock because they remain on the plant through winter when other food sources are scarce, and hungry animals are more likely to eat things they would normally avoid. 16. Beautyberry. Beautyberry produces stunning clusters of bright purple berries that look like nature's jewelry, but these berries contain compounds that cause severe gastrointestinal distress and neurological symptoms. While not typically life-threatening to adults, the berries can cause serious illness, particularly in children who might be attracted to their unusual color. Several southern states have restricted beautyberry cultivation in residential areas because of the danger to children and pets. What makes beautyberry particularly appealing to gardeners is that it's one of the few plants that produces truly purple berries. Not blue purple or red purple, but a vibrant magenta purple that's almost unnatural looking. The berries appear in tight clusters around the stems, creating rings of color that are absolutely stunning in the fall landscape. Unfortunately, that same unusual color that makes them so attractive to gardeners also makes them irresistible to children. 17. Wahoo berries. The wahoo or burning bush produces bright red berries that split open to reveal orange seeds, but these colorful fruits can cause serious cardiac problems. The berries are particularly concerning because the plant is commonly used in landscaping, putting toxic berries close to homes and children. The bright colors make them especially attractive to young children who might mistake them for candy. The plant is banned in several states, both for its invasive tendencies and the serious health risks posed by its berries. Wahoo gets its name from the exclamation people made when they saw its brilliant fall color. The leaves turn an incredible bright red that can be seen from miles away. The berries start out green and gradually turn bright red, then split open to reveal bright orange seeds inside. It's like a natural fireworks display that's unfortunately toxic. 18. Jet bead berries. Jet bead produces small, shiny black berries that look like tiny pearls, but these berries contain compounds that release hydrogen cyanide when digested. They have a slightly bitter taste, but children might ignore this warning sign. The plant is often used in ornamental landscaping, making the toxic berries easily accessible. Several states have restricted jet bead cultivation because of the cyanide poisoning risk. Jet bead is prized by landscapers because it's incredibly hardy and produces these distinctive black berries that persist well into winter, providing visual interest when most other plants are dormant. The berries are perfectly round and glossy black, about the size of a small pea, and they really do look like black pearls scattered along the branches. However, those same hardy characteristics that make it popular with landscapers also make it potentially invasive. And the toxic berries add another layer of concern that has led to restrictions in several states. 19. Coral honeysuckle berries. While the flowers of coral honeysuckle are safe, the bright red berries can cause severe digestive upset and can be particularly dangerous to children and pets. The berries are small but produced in clusters, making it easy to consume multiple berries. They persist on the vine well into fall, providing an ongoing source of concern. Coral honeysuckle is often recommended as a native alternative to the invasive Japanese honeysuckle, and it does produce beautiful tubular red flowers that hummingbirds love. The problem is that those same flowers turn into clusters of bright red berries that are just as attractive to children as they are to birds. The berries are small, about the size of a peppercorn, but they're bright red and produced in noticeable clusters. What makes this particularly problematic is that coral honeysuckle is often planted specifically to attract wildlife to gardens, which means it's usually planted in areas where families spend time outdoors. 20. Virginia creeper berries. Virginia creeper produces small blue berries that contain compounds found in rhubarb leaves, but in much higher concentrations. These crystals cause severe burning and swelling in the mouth and throat, and can cause kidney damage if consumed in quantity. The berries are small and dark blue, similar to wild grapes, leading to cases of mistaken identity. The plant is common throughout the eastern United States, making accidental exposure more likely. Several states have issued warnings about Virginia creeper berries and recommend removing the plant from areas where children play. Virginia creeper is one of those plants that many people don't even realize is in their yard. It's so common and grows so aggressively that it often just blends into the landscape. The vine can climb trees, cover fences, and spread along the ground, producing these small blue berries in late summer and fall. The berries are about the size of a peppercorn and grow in small clusters, but they are dark blue and can easily be mistaken for wild grapes or elderberries by inexperienced foragers. These 20 toxic fruits remind us that nature's beauty can hide serious health risks. From the Manchineel's deceptive apple appearance to Virginia creeper's kidney-damaging berries, these forbidden fruits have shaped America's gardening laws for good reason. If you found these dangerous plants as fascinating as I did, make sure to subscribe for more hidden stories from America's gardens and check out the video on screen about the most dangerous plants still legal to grow. You won't believe what's still allowed in your backyard.